Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're in the US and hunting for affordable car insurance heading into 2026, you're in the right place. Today, we'll go through 5 insurance providers that often come up when searching for cheap car insurance, especially in various states, notably states like Colorado and others. Here are the 5 insurers we're focusing on: Colorado Farm Bureau Mutual, USAA, American Family, Geico, State Farm. We'll review real data on what typical premiums look like, who qualifies, why they can be cheaper, and, importantly, what you should check before assuming cheapest equals best. Let's jump right in. Before diving into companies, it's helpful to understand why insurance costs differ so much from driver to driver and state to state. Car insurance premiums depend heavily on your state, its accident rates, population density, local laws, even weather or theft risk. Your own profile, age, driving history, credit if the state allows, whether you have violations or claims, impacts your rate heavily. The coverage level you choose matters. Minimum liability only coverage tends to be much cheaper than full coverage, liability plus collision plus comprehensive plus extras. So, cheap insurance for one driver may be expensive for another. That said, if you have a favorable profile and live in a region where rates tend to be lower, it's possible to get decent coverage without breaking the bank. Colorado Farm Bureau Mutual, the sleeper value for certain states. The insurer Colorado Farm Bureau Mutual, often Farm Bureau for short, is known for providing some of the lowest rates in states where it operates. For example, according to a 2025 snapshot by an industry-wide comparison site, Farm Bureau had among the cheapest full coverage auto insurance rates in Colorado. For a 6-month full coverage policy in Colorado, their average rate was listed at roughly $780, approximately $130 per month, below many larger national insurers. For liability only, minimum coverage in many cases, Farm Bureau also ranked among the cheapest. Their strength: localized service through community-based agents, often providing flexible options even for classic cars, farm vehicles, etc. Why Farm Bureau makes sense. If you live in a region, state, where Farm Bureau operates, especially rural or less urban areas, and want an affordable full coverage or liability-only policy, this company can offer serious savings compared to big national brands. Their combination of local agents plus lower premiums makes them a strong value pick. Caveat: Farm Bureau is regional. In many U.S. states, it may not even offer policies, so its value depends heavily on your location. USAA, excellent for military and veteran families. USAA is well known for offering low-cost policies, often among the cheapest, for eligible drivers, especially for comprehensive or full coverage. For example, per a 2025 national survey of large insurers, USAA's full coverage rates are often lower than many competitors for comparable coverage levels. USAA also tends to offer multiple discounts and may provide better rates for safe drivers or those using telematics-based driving monitoring. Why USAA ranks high? If you qualify, USAA limits coverage to active duty military, veterans, certain federal employees, and their families. It often offers among the lowest premiums with good coverage and solid financial stability. Caveat: not everyone is eligible. If you're a civilian with no military affiliation, you likely won't be able to get a policy from USAA. American Family Insurance, a reasonable middle-of-the-road choice. According to a recent comparison between insurers, when you compare averaged premiums across certain credit score or risk categories, American Family sometimes edges out other insurers in costs for drivers with less than perfect credit or certain violation histories. For instance, for drivers with very poor credit, the average annual premium with American Family was listed lower than with Geico in one dataset. For some risk categories, like at-fault accidents, DUI, or traffic violations, American Family may offer better rates than certain competitors, depending on the state and driver profile. Why American Family works. If your driver profile isn't pristine, young, poor credit, or some violations, American Family may offer balanced coverage at a reasonable price. It can be a more stable alternative to race-to-the-bottom cheap insurers, offering a balance of affordability and risk tolerance. Caveat: American Family isn't always the cheapest. Its rates vary a lot with risk factors. In low-risk situations, some larger insurers may undercut it. Geico, widely available and often cheapest for many drivers. Geico is one of the largest auto insurers in the U.S. and serves all 50 states. For many typical drivers in states with moderate premiums, Geico often appears near or at the top of cheapest insurer lists, especially for liability-only or basic coverage. Geico tends to offer many discounts, like good driver discount, bundling, telematics, etc., which helps lower costs for safe, lower-risk drivers. Why Geico is a go-to? If you want a low-cost policy, live in a state with competitive premiums, have a clean driving history, and want flexible coverage, Geico is often a solid bet. Their large scale tends to help them keep rates lower compared to smaller insurers. Caveat: as with all insurers, your personal profile and location matter. If you live somewhere with high accident or theft risk, or have a risky driving history, your premium may still be high. What recent data shows 2025 to 2026 trends? Based on recent data from insurance rate survey websites and state breakdowns, in Colorado, average 6-month full coverage premiums with Farm Bureau were around $780, approximately $130 per month, noticeably lower than many national players. For many national insurers, rates vary widely depending on state. For example, State Farm's full coverage rates in a high-cost state like California are higher than state average. For low-risk drivers, clean record, modest vehicle, good credit, insurers like Geico or American Family may offer reasonable premiums compared with big-name insurers, depending on state and profile. If you qualify, military, veteran, or certain federal employees, USAA tends to remain among the most affordable and stable insurers. Who should pick which insurer, matching to your needs? Your profile or need? Recommended company among the 5? Why it works? You live in a state, area served by Farm Bureau, rural, or certain states, and want low-cost full coverage. Colorado Farm Bureau Mutual. Historically low premiums for liability or full coverage when available, plus local agent service. You are active duty military, veteran, or eligible for USAA. Among the cheapest for full coverage, good discounts, and strong reputation, especially for military community. You have less than perfect credit or a driving history with tickets. American Family Insurance. More tolerant underwriting profile depending on history, sometimes better rates than major insurers in these risk bands. You want a widely available, low-cost policy for liability or standard coverage, and you have a clean record. Geico. Large scale, discounts, consistent low to mid prices for many drivers. You prioritize national presence, wide coverage options, and in-person agents or bundling across policies. State Farm. Reliable infrastructure, multiple products, wide availability, even if rates are a bit higher than cheapest. What cheap car insurance means and what to watch out for. It's important to remember, cheap doesn't always mean best value. A lower premium might come with higher deductibles, lower coverage limits, or fewer bells and whistles, like rental reimbursement or roadside assistance. Eligibility matters. For example, USAA is only for eligible military, veterans, certain federal employees, not open to everyone. State path dependency. Some insurers, like Farm Bureau, are regional. If you move or live outside their area, you may not get a policy at all. Your own profile counts. Driving history, age, credit, where allowed, type of vehicle, these all impact premiums heavily. Market volatility. Insurance rates fluctuate depending on accident rates, cost of auto repairs, local regulations, and broader economic factors. What's cheap now might not be tomorrow. So always get multiple quotes. What's cheapest for you may vary a lot based on your zip, driving history, and coverage needs. Opening shot. Voiceover. Tired of expensive car insurance? What if I told you, if you pick the right company and qualify, you could pay well below the national average for full coverage. Stick around. So, if I were you and I lived in somewhere with Farm Bureau coverage, I'd start there. If I were eligible for USAA, that's usually hard to beat. If not, and I just want straightforward, low-cost car insurance, Geico or American Family can make sense. And if I value service, national presence, or multiple insurance products, home, auto, umbrella, State Farm might be worth the extra costs. As always, shop around, compare quotes, check coverage. If this helped, hit like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments, what state do you live in? I'll try to help approximate costs for you.